everyone, it's Kim. So I'm going to do a quick video. It's Tuesday during the week. I don't normally, do a lot of videos during the week, but anyway, so I want to cut these beer men's my Shadow and Stash line for men. They all have beer in them, and yeah, I'm going to cut those real quick. Oh, I almost forgot about this one. I'll have to come back and do the one for pumpkin lavender because I have to use my log splitter to get it split. Okay, so this one is Herbes d'Artois, and it's made with Stella Artois. It's always a rule, kind of simple. The dark color is just vanilla bean powder and then titanium dioxide, and then the part that's is just natural batter. And I tried to do it as a peacock feather before, but I forgot completely about the way I had did the hanger the last time. So I just thought, oh well, it'll be okay. So it's kind of just its own. This one looks kind of like a feather. That's cool. With swirls, you really can't mess it up. I mean, it does its own thing. It's beautiful. I think it expresses itself. And each one is always different. That's the other side. And then the top, I use flax seeds on there, just for a little bit of decoration. Oh, I like that one. Here's this side. And then this side. There's that. And that. Okay, so I think, well, I'll go ahead and finish cutting it just to get it done. It isn't going to take me that much longer to do it. So I was asked on one of my comments what got me started making soap. In 2008, I decided to start making candles. It was about a year after my husband passed away, and some of you guys know this whole story, but I had always been really creative, but up until that point, when my husband was sick, and then I was also caring for my grandmom who adopted and raised me. She had Alzheimer's, so I'd had a few tough years before 2008, and I really wasn't doing a lot of creative stuff. And so after everything, the dust settled and everybody was gone, unfortunately, I decided that I needed to do something to break through, my healing process, basically. And so I took some of my income tax money and I went and bought stuff to make candles. And it was so funny because you start off and you're so naive, and that's why a lot of people who've made soap or candles for a long time, they get kind of I don't know how you just kind of roll your eyes, or and some people are more vocal about it, but just about newbies and how you automatically just think you're just going to charge in and do something from the very beginning and start making all this money, when it doesn't really work that way. I mean, it takes a long time, whether it's candle wax or making soap, to develop your style and a good recipe and skill at it. And even then, stuff happens. So anyway, let's get back to the point. So, yeah, so I was making candles for a couple of years, and then I was in a forum, and I started noticing that all the people who made soap, they were really cool with each other, and there didn't seem to be as much drama, I guess you'd say. Oh, I'm sorry. This one is Carpe Diem. And it's like a deep hunter green, and titanium dioxide and natural base. It's a real manly, fresh scent. It's really nice. Okay, well, anyway, and so it intrigued me, so I started watching YouTube videos, and I just was like, oh my gosh, I've got to try this. But of course, I was terrified at the whole, I was never good with chemicals and science. So the whole thing intimidated me. And I'd watched a video where somebody showed how to use soap calc. That's really neat. And it took the fear away. So I also like talked to people that were in this forum and got a little bit of help from other people that were a little bit further advanced, but they weren't so far advanced that they wouldn't help me. And started making hot process because cold process was just intimidating to me. And I'm a rustic kind of a person as far as the styles that I like. So it was something that I felt comfortable doing. And so I made hot process for about a year before I ever made my first cold process batch. And I still have that original, I have 1 bar left of that original cold process that I made just for old time's sake, just to save it. I'm sure all you guys, or if any of you guys, it's like petrified. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. It's horrible looking. It's probably dusty and hairy from sitting in this open tote, but I'm just showing you my first. Yeah, it is. It's pretty dusty. I should be ashamed, but this is not something I would sell. This is just an old, nasty old bar. But this is my first batch of cold process. The last, and that was my original little stamp. And I never use one of these cutters, and I have one, but I never use it. It's not my thing. But anyway, so this was my very first piece of a batch of cold process. And so anyway, and so I started making it after that. And then because I used to make cakes, I started thinking, you know, you could probably put this stuff in a cake decorating tool. I mean, a cake decorating bag, and do flowers and stuff. And so that's when I started trying out doing the roses and the poppies and all that kind of stuff, and just testing the envelope, because I've always been that kind of person that I always want to try something myself first and see if it works. Because a lot of times, you know, like with crafts, people say, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. And it's a little drippy on the inside, but it'll absorb. That's just from it heating up. You know, so I ended up, you know, really excelling with doing the piped flowers and stuff like that. And it's because I already used to do the flowers and stuff for frosting for all of the cakes and stuff that I had made for my family members. I was never a professional cake decorator or anything, but I just watch a lot of YouTube and watch cake decorating channels, and I just use that application with soap batter. And so, yeah, so basically that's it, is that started off with candles, found that soap makers seemed like they were just like this big family. Of course, there's drama there too, but look at that's drippy. I just fell in love with the whole process of it, and so now I still do both. I do wax products and candles and wax melts, and then I also still make candles and all that kind of stuff. I mean, make soap and all that too. So I've kind of just doing them both now. I never thought in my entire life, you know, if you would have told me years ago, oh, you'll be wearing goggles and making soap out of olive oil and all that, I would have thought that you were crazy. I figured that that was like some like cult followers that are out in the woods somewhere, you know, that they, you know, I just never thought that it was something that you just, you know, like it would become an art form basically. Because if you look around, there are so many people making soap now that it's not even funny. So, yeah. Main thing is just to find your style of what you feel most comfortable with. There's a lot of people who, they love the whole bakery look. There's rustic, there's, you know, fancy swirl, people who can do swirls fantastically. I mean, there's just all kinds of styles, and just, you know, practice. And even, like I said, even if, like that's dripping right there. I mean, it'll absorb into it. I'm not worried about that one at all. Because that happens sometimes because, see, I put my soap in the oven for a little bit just to start up the because I usually soap at room temperature. And so when I had my convection oven, I only used to put it in for 9 minutes, and then I'd take it out and just set it on the counter, and it would be perfectly fine. They would completely gel without being covered or anything. But sometimes, occasionally, depending on the oil, it will heat up a little bit extra, and that's where I get that weeping. But anyway, okay, so that's basically my story. I started off in candles, thought soap was intriguing, watched a lot of YouTube, and just started making it. You know, that's basically what it is. I mean, there's just my only advice is that don't think that, and this isn't, because it takes a long time to build up like clientele and, you know, your customer base, and there's slow times and there's fast, you know, and there's times when you're so busy you think, oh my gosh, I can't. But I still work a full-time job because there's no way I could ever live off of I'm, you know, a single mom basically, or a single person, so I could never live off of what I make from this. It just would not pay the bills. It supplements it, but yet it doesn't pay the bills. So but it helps. I have to have both. So in other words, thank goodness I never quit my job last year when my business really took off, because I would have been in trouble now. But anyway, so here is, I'm just rambling. I'm sorry. You guys know how I am. This is horchata. And I had to redo the one that I had made a couple of weeks ago because it was just a disaster. I had used the wrong amount of water in there, water amount, and I had added too much, and it separated, and it was gross. Okay, so anyway, this is horchata, and all these are made with beer. And this is a Blue Moon brand that's called horchata, which is, ooh, this is beautiful. I'm sorry. Look at that. I love when stuff like that happens. Now, of course, the part that is this area, this kind of a peachy tan, it is going to get to a darker tan because this is a vanilla sandalwood, and it's got rice scent in there. Yeah, so it will darken, but the turquoise color I left unscented. But this is red reef clay. I just left that with the fragrance oil because it'll just get to a darker red. But yeah, and then this up on here on the top is Aaliyah Hawaiian salt. Yeah, so anyway, that's only, you know, like, try not to jump in too fast because, you know, there's a lot of expense in all of this. I mean, it takes a long time to like build up just your knowledge, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's not like just learning how to sew and that's the end of it. I mean, there's just a lot to it, and it takes a lot of practice in giving soap to your family members, or, you know, making money back from it, just selling it to your friends and family, because they'll usually help you out because it costs a lot of money for all the materials. And, you know, a lot of women that do this, they're lucky because they're stay-at-home moms and they can work on this with their family, and it's not a big deal. But like if you're trying to support yourself off of it, it does take a while to get to that point. And I haven't even got there yet. Okay, so sorry, enough rambling. But anyway, this is the horchata. I love this one. Oh my gosh. And like with me, I always say this over and over again, my day job in the fall, when it's really busy for candles and soap because everybody's buying gifts, is when my day job explodes with overtime and everything. So it's a lot more difficult for me to do a lot of like seasonal stuff, because at the beginning it was because I was kind of like sad and I didn't really like the holidays that much because of just like, you know, my family loss and all that kind of stuff. But in general, it's because I don't have time to do a lot of special stuff because I'm working so much with my day job. And I'm going to try to do a few things though this year. So we'll see. It won't be too Christmassy probably, but it'll be holiday-ish. Some gift sets probably. And I always make this stuff called wax crack. You guys know, the ones that are my wax followers. And it's just a what I call wax brittle. And I make these crazy mixed up scents. And so I'll do some holiday scents like that too. But right now I just went back to using my smaller molds where I get 11 bars out of them because I have so many scents that a lot of people like and I like too, but I just can't make those giant batches. I can't justify making 22 bars at once because I just don't sell them that fast. And so I want to be able to have more options for people and selections instead of just having 3 different soaps and that's it. Probably shouldn't even upload this video because I keep rambling. But anyway, this one is horchata. I love those colors. And I got those colors off of the bottle itself because it's got like this terracotta. Well, they're like the Mexican Talavera tiles on the cover. Hand-painted tiles, the looking ones. Ooh, look at that. Beautiful. I'm kind of into just those drop swirls because I like to see the free form of how it falls. Oops. Oops. And then once I was also asked to show my soap room here, my craft room. I'll do that when it's like during the day because it's really dark in here. And I also want to kind of clean it up some more or like organize stuff because we just did it the other day, but we've been packing stuff and it's like Vince doesn't always just put everything back where it belongs. And if most of you guys know that my son, my 19-year-old son, he helps me because there's no way I could keep up if it was just me. So we work at this together. He basically says it's my business, of course it is, but it gives him the ability to stay home and, you know, basically play video games. He's going to go to, he wants to do graphic design, but we've just kind of held off on it. But like online school, basically. Okay, so, this is always a favorite of mine. Okay, this is Sensual Blue. I should have showed that to you first. This is, that's coarse kosher salt on the top. And you see kind of how it turns a little pink. This fragrance oil does do that. It's from Nature's Garden. It's Perfect Man. I don't even care, and I've never had anybody complain because it's such a great scent that who cares? It doesn't, the whole thing doesn't turn pink, only like little edges sometimes, you know, but it doesn't like turn completely pink in the inside, even after it oxidizes, basically. But look at that. Is that not cool? I love that. Now, I did use the hanger in there. That was just something different. I guess I did kind of like a figure 8, it looks like. Well, I'll probably have to go back and watch the video so I can see what I did. I know I'm like this. Yeah, these are awesome. Look at that. And that one is made with Blue Moon, just the Blue Moon ale, the one that's in this colors, the bottle. I just had made it a point that I would make all the men's soaps with ales and beer. You don't smell it in there. It does give it its own kind of an earthy scent, and it really does have special properties that I think really add to the soap itself. Um, Believe it or not, as far as with the foaming of the bubbles, in general, I just feel that it does. That is so cool. I'm gonna make Reverie, and I haven't decided what else, but I saw Reverie there, and that's always a good one for me. It's the one that's black, red, and white. That's a ladies or a unisex scent. I would say more feminine. But I'll make that this weekend. My overtime doesn't start until the following week, so I still have another weekend that I can work on more soaps. But anyway, I don't have to finish all these. They're all looking about the same. I'm crazy about this. I love it. And you know, all my soaps, I try to keep the same color schemes, try to sometimes, unless that was a problem for me and I didn't really like it. But in general, they all kind of look different every time. It's hard to make them, other than the ones with the embeds, it's hard to make the ones with the swirls, when you just do drop swirls and stuff most of the time, look exactly the same. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great week. I'm going to come back and do a video for pumpkin lavender spice, and that's made with pumpkin beer. I just pumpkin ale, but I have to get my log splitter down and all that, and I don't want to do all that on camera, so I need to split the log, and then I'll come back and do a quick video. Okay, thank you so much for watching and listening to me ramble on. Hope I made sense at all. Bye.